So, I mean, there's so many ways we can go with this, and we're not going to get it all in one episode. I tried to kind of think pre-episode on what I would talk about and how I could kind of, I don't know if sell this thing is the right word, but give the most basic ideas of what we're looking at coming forward. That's not what you hear in mainstream media when it comes to NFTs and finance. I'll give you got a thought.
Yeah.
Go
so
ahead.
Right before the break, we were talking about, let's put it in real world terms.
Right.
And let's just take the building we've got at 220 East Main.
Okay.
Small space, $200,000. I want to make sure that I understand this right.
Yeah.
We can put this on the market only to a crypto purchase.
Right.
Attach a smart contract to it. And then every time the building sells.
Yes, you could potentially do that. And so that's one of the things that they're doing too with smart contracts is they're basically digitizing assets. That's something that's happening right now. Right now it's a little bit cloudy because what happens is when you start talking about real pieces of property and how people are going to make money on that. So for instance, you could say potentially with the technology, you could sell this building to say 20 people through an NFT. And you can say within the smart contract, every time somebody pays that rent, you get a chunk of that. But
the tenant would have to pay also in crypto.
Not necessarily. Because this
is where it gets complicated.
It's not really that complicated if you think about it though, because there's already technology that will do that, right? If they paid it, say to the bank, there's companies already that would be the bank, and then as soon as that comes in, they would automatically distribute that throughout and it may even happen on the blockchain, but at that point they would have to pay through some kind of crypto.
I don't see
the problem. Hold on, the problem with that though is that you're talking about like the SEC is going to get involved.
This is exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
I don't see the finance world liking this.
Yeah.
I don't see attorneys, title companies like you're talking about.
They're not going to like it.
You're
They're
talking
not gonna
about
like it.
cutting out all of these people.
So what I think happens though is you don't necessarily cut them out. You basically streamline their business. So they won't necessarily go away.
If there's no reason, title companies would go away 100%.
Yeah,
because there's no reason to have to search for that title.
But what if it just changed? What if those title companies turned into NFT creators and they basically align the digital asset with the physical asset? That's their new job. And then maybe they can follow those
or adapt or die.
Right. That's what I think you're going to see happen. And they can fight it all they want, but when their competitors come out and say, "Hey, we're doing this,"
heads up,
they're going to either have to compete or they're going to go away.
Go away.
Yeah. So, I heard something today. I was kind of watching something and it was talking about more on the financial side of it. It was saying, why is it in this world do you get paid once a week or once every 2 weeks? Why don't you get paid the day you work? Well, there's a couple reasons for that. For one, most people aren't aware of this, but the most large companies will take that money they owe you, and they make money on it, which is called the float.
Of course.
So if they have a huge payroll, so they have Apple, for example, I'm sure their payroll is astronomical. Mm-hmm. The money that they hold for that week or two before they pay it to you, they're making money on it. They're making a lot of money on it. So it's not in their best interest to pay you every day.
That's right.
The other thing is doing payroll every day is a nightmare unless you have the technology that can do it. And we do. We have technology that could fix that. Another thing I heard too was $8 billion a year are paid to the banks for overdraft. $8 billion. Part of that is because people only get paid every 2 weeks, right? They use the overdraft in between checks.
No, of course.
Right? So, I mean, there's so many problems that can be fixed. I mean, just think about if you gave $8 billion back to the people to use within the economy, how much stronger it would be in that fact, versus spending it all, giving it all to the banks. Mm-hmm. You and I've talked about the Gary Vee thing where he talks about, if you could sell your future net worth as NFTs,
Yeah, so I'm not investing. I'm not giving you $5,000 for your startup. I'm giving you $5,000 for Kyle Voss. And everything Kyle does for the next 50 years, I'm going to take 2% of.
Yeah.
To have the ability to invest in people interests me more than any brick and mortar there is. Let me say it again. To have the ability to invest in people interests me more than any brick and mortar business there is.
And if you think about it, you kind of do that already. You know, if you have an employee, you're investing in that person because you feel like they're going to benefit you down the road, right? But when you own the NFT, they can't go anywhere. That's the difference. If you have an employee that's killing it for you, you're paying them good, doesn't matter, you know, and they want to go start their own thing that is a competitor of yours or somewhere else, they want to move.
Great. I'm going to take 2%.
Without the NFT, you wouldn't, right? With the NFT, you would. But so that's when you get into issues with, you know, it's more of a stock. You're owning a share of that person, just like you'd own a share of Apple. And then that, you know, that Apple's paying you dividend, that person's paying you dividend. So then you start talking about there's technical issues there with SEC and it's the fact that whether it's a commodity or a security or, you know, all that stuff. So they'll get that stuff sorted out. They haven't got there yet, but I see that stuff coming down the pipe too, man.
So who...